Racing games feel like they only really have a handful of set game types. You got race cars, sports cars, motorcycles, or go-karts. Settings-wise, you're probably at the track or you're on the streets. And you're either serious simulation or kooky arcade. At Dreamcast launch, developer Ubisoft went race cars, tracks and streets, deadly serious, as they dropped the maniacal open-wheel game Monaco Grand Prix. That game, ported from the PC, was from Ubisoft's Paris office. At around the same time, Ubisoft Montreal had developed their own PC racing game, and went sports cars, streets, light silliness, with Speed Busters, which got ported over to the Dreamcast under the slightly more palatable name of Speed Devils. Speed Devils absolutely looks to build on the wacky arcade racing template set by games like legendary arcade mainstay Cruisin' USA, with courses set on a bunch of local North American roadways, places like Hollywood, New Orleans, Aspen, Las Vegas, and of course, Montreal, and try to make it quirky and fun with course hazards like dinosaurs, boulders, and UFOs. The console version adds a career mode that has you working for a colorful gangster and rising through the ranks of his illicit racing league to win money to upgrade and maintain your cars. Stylistically, Speed Devils felt like a breath of fresh air from the mostly stone-faced racing titles I had dealt with on this project so far. It aims for a tone of lighthearted, disaffected, greaser cool. A mood it even hits occasionally, as much as a Canadian-developed late 90s racing game can, and absolutely has the soul of a 90s PC game, with enough distinctive little quirks that might have been hammered out had it been built ground up for a mainstream console audience. I even found the interstitial between race stuff reminiscent of the vibes from Road Rash, which was a seminal game for my upbringing, and has the same kind of chintzy 90s video game jokey badass vibe that Speed Devils is aiming for. My major problem with Speed Devils, structurally, is its astonishingly lengthy lap times. An average race in Cruisin' USA runs you about 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes if you're really pushing it. In Speed Devils, the average lap runs you damn near 3 full minutes, and it's rare to complete a full individual race in less than 10. The varied terrain and cutesy mini-golf-esque hazards are fun, but at such a gargantuan length, the game doesn't have enough ideas or gimmicks to throw at you to keep you emotionally invested in every single race when you're pushing what feels like a quarter hour to get through 3 laps. While attempting to keep you interested during the long, lonesome trek to the finish line, the game also provides you weird, sudden detours across surprise bridges and the like, the kind that leave you unsure of where to go, or plummeting off the sides of cliffs. Around the same time as Speed Devils' release, Electronic Arts put out a novelty racing game called Beetle Adventure Racing, featuring a fleet of Volkswagen's famous little cutie car, that was inexplicably one of the greatest racing games of its generation, and one of the best parts was its exceedingly clever hidden pathways and shortcuts, which emerged naturally from the tracks itself, but required you to keep vigilant to track them down. Speed Devils also demands vigilance, but it's born more from losing focus and crashing into a ravine after letting your mind drift elsewhere during the sparse, enormous tracks, which are so large that there's rarely even a lot of individual battles because you get spread out so easily. And that's pretty much it for Speed Devils. It's a game that tried to do something unique and tried to do something fresh, and came through in some ways, but absolutely did not stick the landing. and mostly just made me cue up the intro to Road Rash and dive into some real nostalgia. Weirdly, we will talk about Speed Devils again on this project, but it's the sort of game that, by then, I doubt you'll remember that we ever talked about it before. Next time, they always said the 8-way run was treacherous, but never like this.